Guys, this is a pre-4th of July podcast. We haven't done those longer ones for a while.
Yeah.
So,
Been a while.
So the first topic that I want to talk about, how was the freight pre-July 4?
Well, the man of the hour.
Well, again, it's out there. It's kind of one of those, who get to it first. Everybody's trying to get to it, so you got to be astute. You got to keep your head, dialed in and get to the freight. Is it out there? Yes. Will it stay out there long? Obviously not.
So what about the rates? How was the rates comparing to like 6 months ago?
Well, 6 months ago, the rates, again, the broker is kind of, trying to suppress the rates, but you still have to have the mentality that I have the truck and the trailer. And for the most part, if you're diligent enough, you can get what you want, but they're not going to just give it to you, just in a mere conversation. You got to understand, let them know how important your truck and your trailer is. And they still got to move the freight too.
So you got to fight for your right to make a top dollar.
Exactly. You put it in a few words. You're right.
Well, I wonder too, today is it so important to get things done in the morning as opposed to later on in the afternoon?
Absolutely. I mean, say no more. Again, we're not the only one out there trying to get the fair rate, but also, get our trucks under load. So, you got to start in the morning and be that bulldog.
Yeah, because these brokers know people are trying to get home.
Absolutely. And by the way, sometimes even in the iffy market, I would say if you have a feeling based on that posting, based on the phone calls, based on the people that you talk to, that you're arriving at a hot spot, maybe you should wait for the last minute. But just be careful these days about it.
Yes, that's strategy work. but yes, and you're right, Mike. But you got to know that it's strategy and not just by chance.
Yes, you got to plan for it because I remember like years back, I had a guy in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City, you can hit or miss. One day you can get like $1.20 to get out back to Midwest. The other day you can get $2 a mile.
Okay.
So I was like so locked into bucks a mile, and in the morning I was able to get like 190. And I'm like, just wait. And around noonish, it's like 160. I'm just wait. And then in the afternoon, $1.40. Let's get the hell out of here.
If not, you would have been like Monday. Just wait.
I know that was one of my big losses. Still damaged by it.
There you go.
All right. So what worked and what did not work for owner operators in the last couple of months?
I'll let you go first.
All right. So I think what didn't work for a lot of the guys is focusing too much on the fuel price. I mean, it's important. It's extremely important. But allowing that to just be the driving factor if I'm going to park my truck. And that's it. As if, I don't think that the rates were as bad as they have been in the past. It's the fuel price that's different. I think that's the more impactful indicator. But I think guys shouldn't have parked that truck, man. We're in business for the long haul, and we're in business to make it.
Yes, because here's what I think. For example, let's say the rates are a little lower than maybe we should be, right? Pre-July 4, maybe. The fuel kind of higher than it should be. Let's make the points there. Now, on the emotional level, I feel the pain. You put that pump into your tank, and you see the numbers growing and growing and growing and growing. You're like halfway through the tank, and you're already like $700. So yes, it's painful, especially coming out of, let's say, certain areas. Your full tanks of diesel may be more than a load, right? But if you allow the emotions to take you away, you're going to be in a world of hurt instead of actually adding numbers together. Yep, that's expensive. So how do I recover this? So I need to get to that spot, and then from that spot, I'm going to go to that spot, and from that spot to the next spot, and I will run as hard and far as it takes to get my revenues straight.
I'm sorry, but you just took that thought right out of my head. I was kind of waiting for my turn, but you nailed it. You got to be decisive. In a day and time like this, you can't be sitting trying to figure. We've been doing this long enough where we already have it figured out. So now when you were working 5 days to get this amount of money, yeah, you might have to do a 6 day to get that revenue. That's just the way it is. But you have to be decisive. You got to move. We can't sit around talking for hours about what we can do, what we should do. Between the DM and the driver, we should already know that. And time is money, always have been, but even more so right now.
Yeah, so like it's economics 101. I mean, from a lemonade stand to trucking, it doesn't matter. Any business to grow, even sustain cash flow, you have to create a cash flow in that to have a chance.
Yeah, because it costs you money to sit in the parking lot.
Yeah,
it does cost you money. So the bottom line, I think, is the old timers, the owner operators that has been around. We have been consistent. We wasn't, losing it all and starting it all, losing it all and starting it all. The consistent owner operators who have their stuff together, right? We all say the same thing. Sometimes you have to work more to make the same amount of money. Sometimes you can work less to make the same amount of money. But as a businessman, you should always know that line where you need to be in order to move forward.
Yes, that's surviving the times, okay? Because the time changed. Everything ebbs and flows. But to survive the times right now, you got to do a little extra. And I think sometimes we're unwilling to do that. We think things should stay the same, but nothing ever stays the same. So you got to adjust to.
Yeah, it's kind of, check this out. Like, have Mike Tyson never been hit in the ring? Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. So what would happen if he got hit once and he's like, this is bullshit, I'm fucking leaving. We would not be talking about the guy. He would not be a winner, he would be a loser, and nobody wants to talk about the losers.
Right.
So,
And if you're a follower, that's all him, all right, Mike?
all right. So what are we expecting after 4th of July?
I don't like directly, like on the 5th. I think in the morning, brokers are going to roll the dice and everybody's going to try to come out on the road. So I don't think the rates are going to be as best as they can on that. Again, I don't know, just opinion.
Well, I think it's a funny thing because everybody says everybody is trying to get out, right? But the thing is, everybody is trying to get out of different areas.
Yeah.
So it's just another day in the market, really.
Yeah.
It is. It is, and not only that, but they know just as well as we do. Guys are going to try to stay home, so to coerce guys to get. I think you can get what you want, and like Mike said, I think Tuesday is just going to be a regular Monday because we have to get. Freight still has to go. Guys are still delivering, and that's why it's important now. If you really want to, I believe, if you really want to kind of stick the landing, if I already had that load today, for my driver to pick up on Tuesday, I think I can get a fair rate because those brokers going to want to try to book that stuff in advance. Some, they're going to wait the day of. But I'm trying to talk to my broker, especially if I have a relationship with him, that, hey, the early bird gets the worm. This is a load that you don't have to cover on Tuesday. Let's cover it right now.
You know what? That's a great point because a lot of these guys, either they're off or hung over on that Tuesday. They're going to want most of that work done already. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Just remember, guys, if Tuesday is your Monday, make sure Saturday is your Friday.
That's a fact.
Amen to that.
Well said.
All right, guys. So let's talk about what can owner-operators do to improve their business revenues.
Well, again, coming out on the first day of the week is so important. I cannot emphasize that, or I can talk about it forever. Those Tuesdays, those Wednesdays, you got to remember, time is money, and you only have so much time to do it in. And if you come out on Monday, there's a great chance that you can have a successful week all the time, And not only that, but using all the resources that's available to you when it comes down to fuel, discounts, understanding. I mean, there's just a lot of things we can do. But again, guys, maybe I just got tongue-tied. But coming out on a Monday, I think has to be my top. It has to be that first, because once you come out on Monday, whether you're delivering Tuesday or Wednesday, it gives me an opportunity to plan for you for the week, a successful week. But if we're him-hawing around and I can't get you out in a timely manner, then you really kind of limit what I can do to be able to make you successful at the end of the week.
All right. I would say this. if we're already talking about what can owner operators do to improve their business revenues, right? First of all, you need to know how much you want to make, right?
Absolutely.
So let's say, what would be the upper average number these days?
We talking gross or
The net for the owner operator to take home after fuel and everything. Upper average, not the highest, because we got some crazy numbers going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Because some people are actually, not messing around. We're all about their business. Others, not so much. Let's talk about average upper echelon. Would I be wrong if I would say like around 3,000 to 3.5?
3 to 4 window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
That's
make,
reasonable.
Let's make that number as a base. So 3 to 4. Let's wrap it up at 35, right? Mm-hmm. So now it's Monday morning. 35 is your number.
Mm-hmm.
So by not coming out on Monday, you just made your chances to achieve that number less, right? So instead of focusing on just the fuel price, because you cannot control that, right? Mm-hmm. What you can control, your fuel economy, to a degree. Mm-hmm. You should very much work on that. So control your fuel economy because you can somewhat control that. Don't worry about fuel price. Don't fight the reality, right? And only focus on the number. Tell your dispatcher this is the freaking number and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And that's it.
Yeah, and most time it's achievable.
I say, give me a truck who doesn't call the shots and lets me do it. As long as we can get their hours of service together,
you can make it happen.
I can make it happen every week. Mm-hmm. Every week. Even during 4th of July week. Assuming that Saturday is Friday.
There you
Yes.
go. Yeah. Because one plus one has to be 2. You can't change it. So
All right. Christian, you want to add anything to this?
no. Well, I mean that's exactly the same thing. And then you'll just have people comparing different notes. Setting yourself up. Where are you going to wind up on Tuesday? Because we got guys running through the weekend. There's some guys that, not that interested in July 4th, but it's all.
We must be not very patriotic.
I mean, I'm just saying, money's
We have the patriotism that I.
Or we were at home for 2 weeks at Cinco de Mayo.
In God we trust, right?
Yeah, so sticking to that plan, sticking to availability to keep that truck moving and keep it working. That's the biggest thing. So,
The bill collectors are patriotic. they'll send you that payment on.
And you should write on the check, you, sir, must not be very patriotic.
oh man.
So the bottom line, focus on what you can change and don't worry about things that you cannot. All right, next topic. What would you suggest to owner-operators who struggle to make money doing local or regional work?
Okay, so here's one. So let's say we're just going to use Florida because that's where we are. Let's say you have a guy, Florida to and I'm making numbers up. Florida, Miami, $1,000. Then the guy's going to try to get a reload back. But let's just say that Lakeland load that goes down to Miami is available every day. When you're playing with local, you want that consistency and you want to be available every day for that load. That's your building block. But then you get to Miami and now we want something coming up, let's say. And now we kind of get lost in that sauce where we're looking for that one load that will help us make that great day. But now we got 400, 600, whatever was going to Sebring. Mm-hmm. And now we don't have the hours to be in position the very next morning for that load that's there every day for $1,000. So now we miss it. So now you'll recover with something else later on, but because of domino effect. So in 2 days, you could have made $2,000 if you would have deadheaded home, mm-hmm. or back, right, to be in position for the next day. But now you only made $1,400. Yeah. And then whoever was your customer that you were protecting, or you're no longer preserving that customer because somebody else had to do your load on Tuesday. So I think you have to look at it a little bit different if you're going to do that local stuff. It's more of a hustle. But it also remains the same. I think a lot of guys kind of get lost and are chasing the ball everywhere and end up nowhere. That's kind of my opinion on that Florida local stuff.
Well, not only that, when it comes to that local, we'll say you did want your reload back, but now on the reload, you took 10,000 pounds down, and now the one coming up is 40,000, and now you says, what? I can't take the 40,000. You know. Okay, so now the clock's ticking, tick, tick, tick. You shouldn't have took it the first place. As Christian said, you should have just came back up, because if you look at the round, it's probably $2 a mile anyway. But we stayed down there, and now we're trying to find this load that you want, because no, if I find your load because that's what you want, and it's 40,000 pounds, the quicker you go get it and come up, we reload again. You can't let weight be a deciding factor on picking up loads and delivering loads, whether you're going down or coming back up. Again, clearly, 5,000 at the end of the week is 5,000. If you got 1,000 going down and you can come back up, reload, you get a load every day, as Christian was saying. Don't worry about the weight. Let's just get it on.
Yeah, so there you go. So I just think that second leg, you have to be creative. You have to have a base that you build around. Sometimes you can, some days you will not. Just the way it's just going to be how it rolls.
So I would say it's almost like maybe a partial load, to where you got your base, you got your main load. If you're going to start building around the partials, you're in the world of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But if you have your base, now partial would add you some money. So in this case, let's say if you have your base already, Lakeland to Miami for $1,000, and now you ruin a day because you want your $400 to come back to Lakeland, I get it, the fuel is not free to come back from there. But if you look at the holistic package to where, it's a round trip, $1,000, and if I get a reload, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But if I don't get a reload that suits my $1,000 load, the next $1,000 load, I'm heading back. So I'm there for that load. And in that case, you can probably be at the week, like during the week, you will probably be able to get a few, not every time, but a few that will perfectly suit it. And you're going to end up a week with some very nice numbers. So here we go. I know some of you guys out there watching this videos right now, motherfuckers.
Can I say one more thing about the local? Just because it's local, you still got to stay in the truck.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, I learned that the hard way.
What do you mean, unfortunately? Like, this is trucking, man. Like, what the hell?
Man, I've tried it back in the day. I thought like local is more home time. Boy, I was freaking wrong.
Yeah, you still have to stay in the truck. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You still have to focus on the number that you need to make, and you still have to stick with a plan. So I would say this, with local, you have even less flexibility to have your own input into how you're going to run. In order to make the money that you have been promised, you have to stick to the plan of the people that promised you the money. Is that about right?
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so...
But hold up, before we move on, what do you think? The competition to grab local freight off the market is tougher than OTR regional, or just about the same?
I say about the same.
Okay.
I mean, because one may think different. I think it's about the same. It's just that you can get, again, once you start getting the local freight and to continue to make it, to speed it up, of course, you got to have connectors. Okay. Oftentimes a person would get inside the Florida market. Okay, and we're going down to Miami. Now I got to connect something from Miami to Tampa. Okay. But eventually you'll find, because the freight's out there, where you can go from one place to the other. But if you refuse to kind of do that, it kind of makes it difficult, or you don't stay in there long enough for these things to come to fruition. Now it becomes a problem. If you had a guy that stays in the truck locally and you can move him around Florida, because the only reason we're doing this is because you want to be home on the weekend. But during the weekday, 5 days a week, if you stay in the truck, I can almost guarantee you we can have a good week. You're home on the weekends. Remember, coming out Monday is key, because if you don't come out Monday, it messes the whole week up, no matter if you're regional, OTR, or local. You have your weekend. We can connect the dots because the freight is there. People are asking you to haul this freight, but we can't make the connectors because we get on operators sometimes that's not willing to do certain things. If that made sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I even wonder, just like Mike learned the hard way, being local doesn't mean you're home more. And then also, let's look at it from a dispatch point of view. That dispatcher, do you think that guy has to hustle that much harder to find local freight? And it's more pieces than something different? Because you need a mover. Just because it's your backyard, it doesn't mean it's easier. So you still have the guy. You have the guy that pushes and grinds and makes more phone calls.
So for local, I guess you just got to be even more flexible with what you're willing to do, right? Because this is, as an owner operator, this is what you're competing with. Let's say I'm a fleet owner, right? The company with company trucks, and I've done it before. So, for example. And I'm going to use OTR example, but that's the same Lakeland to Miami. I just don't want to make fake numbers. So, for example, if I'm sending my driver from, let's say, Kentucky to Miami for really, really good money because it's incoming into Florida. Florida, for the most part, is garbage to get out and blah, 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 all this 9 yards. So, before he even gets to Miami, as a company owning trucks, I'm looking for I know all the loads are garbage. It doesn't matter to me. It's 80 cents a mile, 70 cents a mile, or 90 cents a mile. I don't care. I know it's under $1. This is not the load that I'm going to make money from coming out of Florida. I only have two concerns. Number one is my driver's time and hours. And number two, since I already know I'm not making money on this load, I'm going to grab the first available load that meets my agenda for the next move, and I'm not even going to ask a price. Some of you guys are going to say people like me will kill your rates, right? But at the end of the week, my truck is going to make a lot of money, my driver is going to make a lot of money, and I will make a lot of money by accepting the reality. And I will fight like hell for my rates coming into Florida because I know
what's going to happen.
Yeah, because there it's negotiable and they will adjust.
Coming out, I know I have no power to negotiate. So I will plan my things just around the areas, strategy, instead of focusing. Imagine this. Now I'm fighting about the load coming out of Miami and I want extra $25, man.
For what?
And now my driver sits there burning his hours for half a day. And now we're losing another day out there somewhere where we could be making money. So I think sometimes it's probably very important to just accept the reality and move on. Because some of you guys watching this, you will look at leaving Florida as a loss. I'll look at getting back to business.
Yes, because whether you do it with a load, there's some that's doing it without a load anyway. So it's still the same concept. You're not wasting time. You're either going to pick up the load and repurpose yourself with a load, or you're going to do it without a load.
Yeah, because otherwise you are wasting a day arguing $25 when you could be wasting 30 minutes or an hour elsewhere arguing $250 or $2,500.
Right. Yep.
So here we go. I think that's that made sense to me. That's that's what I used to do. And sorry about cutting your rates.
And we don't have company trucks.
And we don't have company trucks.
But it's real. Those that have company trucks, it's actually happening, Mike. So it makes sense.
No, if we had company trucks, that's exactly what we would do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we would do. And trust me, sometimes I booked a load that I knew mathematically only pays for my fuel, and I'm paying out of my pocket to the driver, but the driver is not free anyway. I would have to pay him even if he goes empty.
Exactly.
So for me to fight for $25 and lose a day and piss off the driver, and if you have a good driver, you want to take care of him, so he doesn't owe you to sit there for a day. So at the end of the day, I think moving, repositioning strategy, and fighting where it matters, and cutting your losses where it doesn't.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to the next one?
Yep.
So what about OTR? How the over-the-road owner-operator can improve the revenue, the business, how can we make more money? Especially the people that these days say, the market is tough. I'll better off parking the truck. I just can't make money anymore. What we can do to actually start making money again?
Yeah.
Go to work. We've been talking about it all the time. I mean, I hate to make it sound so, maybe bad, but it's, again, you have to change the strategies, and you just have to get out there. And just like anything else, everybody, I mean, I know it's the owner operators and I know they own the truck and everything, but economically, everybody's feeling a certain crunch when it comes down to finances. But that it doesn't suggest that we fold the tent and go home. We still have to work. So we just got to be willing to be more aggressive in areas and more diligent. And again, nothing happens if we don't back up to the docks and pull these and come out in a timely manner. Sometimes we might have to stay out a little longer than we anticipated. But, nothing happens if the truck's not moving. Parking the truck, in my opinion, I know that's your truck, but it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah, because I agree. It's not just that. It's also looking at strategy on just a bigger scale than what we were talking about locally like that. All right, so you can gross bigger numbers in the Northeast, but you're also going to have higher expenses. Tolls pretty much, but fuel's a lot more than maybe, I don't know, we've been talking to Texas a lot. And let's say fuel is cheaper down there with the discount. Can you gross less but net the same? And you're not doing as many miles, let's say. So I think there's also strategy in that as well. And and again, it comes down to you and the relationship with that dispatcher, posting that truck in different locations, finding these little customers, reaching to your contacts at the brokers and who got what and how we can cover things that, before it even hits those DAP boards and all of that stuff. Like relationships are important at this point, at this time, in connecting these dots. So I would say those are some of the things that these OTR guys can look at it differently. So I don't know. There's going to be guys out there that will continue to run Oregon to Buffalo, New York, and that's what they want to do.
So what I want to add to this, let's talk about good dispatcher. Good dispatcher, let's say, takes a 1 month long vacation. Would it be fair to say that he needs to readjust to the rates, to the market, to everything?
Yeah, absolutely. By the time they come back, things change.
Man, he takes a week off. He's got to readjust.
So here we go. Let's use that as a baseline. So the dispatcher who is booking freight, dealing with customers and brokers every day, takes a week off, and he needs to readjust, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say for an owner-operator, for somebody who says, yeah, but a month ago my buddy did this or I did that, now it makes it mission impossible, because if it takes for a guy who's doing that every day, multiple times a day, a week later to readjust, but you are not willing to adjust at all, you want to run the way a month ago something happened once or twice. So I think being able to adjust would probably be a pretty strong thing. Mm-hmm. If you have a relationship with a dispatcher, which you should, and if you don't, you should
get one.
Get another. No, you should get another dispatcher, because if you already don't have that relationship, it's toast.
But you know what, Mike? I believe that guys that have that great work ethic out there, they understand the difference and they're feeling it, but they stay there. Those are the ones that's going to survive the storm, because they understand they still doing the same thing. They never stop doing what they were doing. Yeah, they may make a few dollars less, but they're making more than most, because they were already out there doing those things, staying in the right lanes, staying out when they need to be out, understanding I need to do that extra day, talking to their dispatchers, because one of the things they can do to help the dispatchers is to be able to kind of share with them some things that they can do internally to be able to help them. It's a partnership. If you're driving and I'm your dispatcher, the best thing that could happen for me and the dispatcher is that we have the greatest relationship that we can have to be able to make money for the driver. If you out there and you see it, I'm sitting at the desk. So there's some things out there you're going to be able to see that I can't see. Okay. And you can explain it to me. I'm listening to you. I'll make the adjustments for you so that we can all win.
So how about this? If I'm your dispatcher, I want you to say nothing and drive really good, and we're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah, but and I get it. I get what you're saying, but maybe the point I was trying to make is relationships is important because you know the dispatcher. If you shut up, and make the money, and guess what? If you're making the money for the driver, there's a chance there ain't nothing to talk about.
That's the point. So, and I'm saying that not to be ignorant. I'm saying that based on my experience. When I was arguing with my dispatchers, I was never making money.
No, I didn't say argue.
When I decided, what? Hey, you are a dispatcher and I'm a driver. You do you. I'll do me. You don't tell me how to drive, and I'm not gonna tell you how to dispatch. Everything changed. Everything changed. So here we go. And I want to go to a final topic because as we were talking, it just came to my head. Remember the thing that we were talking like yesterday or the day before yesterday about Barbara?
Oh, yeah.
So here's my observation. And I've seen Barbara a couple of times. I know her, but like I'm not the guy who's, dealing with her on a daily basis, right? So how did that happen? That during a lot cheaper fuel times, maybe slightly higher rates, and better market, Barbara was making a lot less money than she is making right now.
Today, present time.
Today, in this market, and a lot of you out there watching this saying, the world is over, it's doomed, we're going to do Uber, we're going to work for restaurant or do something else. So what's up with that?
Go ahead.
Training. And what did we train? Efficiency. That's what it was about. So in this particular case, it was just a little bumps and bruises about time management with hours of service. And once we were able to apply the training, but not just that, like the dedicated training where, she was working closely with Caitlin on a daily basis. Hey, let's talk about this. When would be the next move? Like you just said before, communication. And it can't be empty. Listen, people will run late. But when you were dispatching, how great was it when that guy's like, yo, Mike, man, I'm in it. I'm going to be late. That gives you the freedom to say whatever you got to say, to make it happen, to readjust things and make your magic happen. But he's being honest and letting you know, this is what I'm in right now.
Yep.
I won't pick up the phone if the broker calls. Just let me.
Because also, guys, if you don't pick up a phone when your dispatcher is calling, you are freaking late. And you don't have a good excuse.
Well, and with Barbara, again, communication. You said communication. There's some talks that had to happen, one with the other. Then there's someone that needed to understand how to be able to do it after the talks had been tabled. Now she's in a situation that don't have to talk because both understand. The dispatcher understands this. She understands to trust the dispatcher. So therefore, now all you have to do, like you said, is now just go. Okay? And that's exactly what she's doing. She's just going. There's no problem. She has someone that know how to manage that piece, and there's no discussion that has to be said right now.
So what that actually meant is not just that there's better management of hours of service. That equals less giving loads back because we're not going to make there. So now we're giving 2 reloads back because we had a plan for the week, and now we're not. And we're spending more time apologizing and giving freight back, and now we're scrambling to find reloads and rework the whole project and do this and all this chaos, and we're confusing all this movement for progress, and so there's less of that, and then that's I think what gives the winning factor.
All right, so. What about dispatcher? Did the dispatcher have anything to do with that, or it's all just hours of service?
The dispatcher had everything to do with it.
Okay, so what's the difference between then and now without throwing stones at anybody?
No, because
like the practical changes.
Well, yeah, because if you have a dispatcher that understand all these things that we talk about to include hours of service, now the effectiveness and the efficiency of being able to dispatch this person becomes even greater because now there's no, okay, you dispatching me and I don't have the hours to go there because now that dispatcher that's dispatching knows when to book that load, when it needs to deliver, and when to book that next load so everything can be fluent inside those hours of service along with making the money. So now there's no conversation being had when there were before.
Oh, well, yeah. So there you go. The conversation is not being had, but at the same time, it allows that dispatcher to get a lot more creative and take more chances to make more money.
So was that not what I said? Just shut up and drive.
Yes, yes, you said that, and I'm not denying that piece. Only thing I was maybe the point I was trying to make, if I made it, was that initially there's a little work that has to come in play, you know, in order to get it to the point where you're shutting up. Because I gotta get you to the point where you trust me in what I'm doing to be able to shut up and let me do what I do.
So, in other words, everything what I said, just nicer.
There you go. But trust this. Trust this. We will be out in Texas next week. We got a phone number for you guys out there in that area to give us a call. My man will be out there answering questions for owner-operators. 817-455-6800. Open house, right?
Open house, man. It's open house. Y'all come on and see me. And yes.
He's going with decals and all, man. So he's going hunting.
Endless owner-operator business opportunities there in Texas and Florida, guys. Where do we call?
863-342-5171. So you guys
talk to my man Christian. And guys, drive safe, stop bitching, hit the road, make the money, and you're good.
And dispatchers, same thing. Stop bitching, find the loads, and make money.
Absolutely.
What they said.
All right, guys, be safe out there.